Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Vegan Views. So today we have a very special guest, our friend Melina. You guys will remember her from some previous episodes. If you haven't watched those, what are you doing with your life? Go back and watch them right now. But come back to this episode because it's going to be a good one.
It's juicy.
It's juicy.
We
so
have
much
wine.
tea.
Juicy like our rosé.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We decided to drink a little wine for this episode.
A little wine in a big glass.
A bowl of wine.
Yeah.
Just a small bowl
Nothing
of
like
wine.
a nice bowl of wine. We haven't started drinking yet and we sound crazy.
So we are here for a purpose, and we're going to talk about making friends and how your friendships change when you become vegan. We've done a similar topic to this in the past, but I feel like a lot of things have changed over the years for us, and we have like a new perspective on things. So what about you guys? Like when you first went vegan, was there a shift with your current friends?
When you first go vegan, a lot of the messages we get are like, I'm so lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm having a really hard time connecting with my old friends. And for me, like, I really depended on my old friends. I had great friends, and I was really resistant to making vegan friends because it was so scary. I had to like really learn how to foster friendships like outside of being vegan and learn how to be tolerant and patient and like listen. Because I know we've talked about this before, but when I first went vegan for a couple weeks, I was like angry, you know, like
the angry vegan.
Yeah, and like, let me tell you all the facts I learned on YouTube last night, and
like, you should know this. How can you not?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no one wants to hang out with me anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of learned how to be. Colleen Patrick Goudreau has a good podcast called How to Be the Vegan in the Room. That episode's really great. We'll link it down below. But fostering old friendships is so important. You've grown with those people. You obviously love them because they've been in your life for so long and they're precious, you know?
It's true. It's easy when you're like first going vegan and you feel really angry and you feel really alone. You feel like your friends don't understand you. Like I remember I have really great supportive friends, but I remember feeling like when I told them I was vegan that they didn't understand me or like see me for like who I was or want to see me for who I was. But I like that it's hard to expect that of people when they don't really understand the extent of what this means to you. Now they understand it so much more, but when I first told them, they were like, oh, is this a diet? Like, I'm confused. Like, why all of a sudden are you changing this? And so, yeah, I feel like
give them time to wrap their head around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I went the complete opposite route of you because I was like, that's fine. I don't need them anyway. I'll find new vegan friends. Like, whatever. And these are my friends that I had since childhood. And I remember I was like, watched Earthlings. You guys know that was like my turning point. And I was convinced that, oh my God, the only reason they're not vegan is because they haven't seen it yet. They don't have the information. So I went to them like excited and I was like, oh my God, you guys, I saw this film. You have to watch this. It's going to change your life too. And they're like, I don't really care. And I'm like, what? Like crushed. And I was like, you know what? I don't need your friendship. Forget you. And I was like, I'll find vegan friends. It's fine. But then obviously it circles back around. It's been so many years. And I'm like, I do love them. And I can't just like separate from these people because of something like that. But I lashed out at first. When I first went, I was like, I don't need you. It's fine.
For me, when I was so excited about the information that I had learned and about this lifestyle change that I was making, I felt like, of course, everyone who I tell is going to want the same thing as you. Like, everyone is going to feel this way. And when they didn't, I felt confused. But then when they were resistant, I was even more confused. Like, why?
I was just mad.
Yeah, like, why don't you care more? And I think something that Earthling Ed has said that I think is so valuable to kind of just give you perspective is that sometimes when you make a big change like that, it can feel like to others that you are saying that they're wrong and you're saying that you reject, like, let's say if it's your parents who don't understand you. I know we get comments all the time from people who are like, I want to go vegan but my parents won't let me, or my family isn't accepting of this. And I think a lot of times that's because, well, they raised you and they might feel like by you saying that you don't believe that eating meat is moral, that you're saying that the way that they raised you was immoral. And same thing with your friends, like the way that you eat is wrong and now I'm doing this thing that's right, and it creates this tension and this barrier that is really, really difficult for people. So I think that's where that resistance comes from. He explained that so well. If you guys don't know Earthling Ed, we'll definitely link him down below. He's such a helpful resource and he has really great insight to into these kinds of things. But for me, I think that was the biggest thing, was I was so stuck on why aren't people more open-minded?
Yeah.
And I do think that showing them like how you showed them Earthlings, like I think a lot of times if you guys haven't all seen the same information and it's hard to explain it because you have all of these emotions tied to it. So definitely I think sharing it with your friends is helpful.
Yeah. I think something different than I said last time. I'm pretty sure I was like encouraging people to just be like the cool vegan and like be super nonchalant about it. And like, oh yeah, nothing bothers me. It's cool. It's fine.
You do
And
you.
I feel
Like,
like
I went
that's
through that
just
phase.
something I've actually struggled with friendships, is like a level of intimacy. I think that there's like certain like coolness you have to have about it. But honestly, like having that open dialogue with my friends now about like, this is something that's important to me. And it's not like a diet I'm doing. It's not like a fun fitness craze. Like this is something I saw and it's like really matters to me, has opened up a dialogue with my friends, and not in a way to like make them go vegan. At first, I was really trying to be cool, make it seem easy so they'd want to go vegan. But now I really want them to know like my heart, how it feels, how it affects my life, and how I see the world. And like my friends treat me so differently, and like
Because you're connecting with them, you're being who you really are.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
it's more of a real.
and like allowing them to help you, and like I would always be like, no, I'm bringing the best vegan options, and like, well,
I'm gonna prove it to you.
yeah, I'm gonna
This
prove
is
it
the
to
way.
you, like, and like secretly like kind of like be salty about it. And now I'm like, yeah, there's certain like you want to give your friends good things and make them feel good about you coming to their house, but like also a lot of friendship, I think we forget, is allowing other people to help us and see us truly in vulnerable moments. And I know for me, I was like not letting that happen because it's something like so special to me in my heart. I didn't want people to judge me, so I kind of took like a cold stance against it instead of just really like having these lovely conversations with these lovely people I've chosen. And I know we talked about this last time, like I kind of measure how much I share with certain people based on like how bad they've made me feel about it. So it's like kind of like just people have to earn your trust and respect, and like there's different situations where some people are maybe mean to you.
Right. That's different.
But that's a little different based on like the friendships like you want to foster and enrich. That's really important, to allow people to help you, allow them to buy you stuff that they're trying to like satisfy and be your friend. Like allowing that is really important.
And it's also okay to disagree. I think that sometimes we think that all of us have to have the exact same opinions, or if that someone has a different opinion, that they're wrong in some way. And I think it just in general, we could all be a little more chill about people living differently.
Oh my gosh,
than we
totally.
do.
Like just as a society, I think we need to be better about that. Like I feel like if I post something on my YouTube channel and somebody disagrees with me, they're like, I'm unfollowing you. And I'm like, because you disagree with me on
They
one
sound
thing?
fun.
Like, you know, but I think that's kind of like the culture that we have now, that we live in now, where people are like, oh, you support this, I don't like you anymore, and you're canceled. And it's like this like toxic cancel culture that needs to end. And it's like it goes the same with like the relationships in your life. Like it's good to have different views and different ideas from the people in your life, because then you feel like you're learning from them. Like if you all thought the same way, that would just be so boring and like you wouldn't grow.
But I'm sure there are people who are watching this who are vegan and they are passionate about being a voice for the voiceless, and I hear you, and I don't think that it's okay to not speak up for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that if you cut out everyone who doesn't already agree with you or immediately agree with what you say, you're missing an opportunity to create change in the world, and you're just kind of putting yourself in a vacuum, and I don't think that that's helpful for anyone.
You're totally isolating yourself.
Yeah.
And you're giving them a reason to be like, oh, okay, that's exactly why I'm not like that, or that's why I'm not open to like being vegan or living that lifestyle, because they're
Change
so like
happens
hardcore
slowly.
about it. And I definitely, you guys know that I'm all about like being vocal about it, because at the end of the day, I'm thinking about the animals, like, you know, and when people will attack me, if they come at me aggressively, then I'll go back aggressive. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm not. But
We're Tauruses.
You know, we don't. Anyways. But I did notice, like, obviously I've been through so many phases. Like, in the beginning, I was, like, passionate and, like, can I say fuck you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck you if you're not vegan. You know
We're drinking
that?
like these large glasses of wine. We're like, we don't.
We're like, no, we have standards.
I noticed that with my friends and with people who I was, like, crossing paths with in my life, the ones that were most open to it, they would come to me and they'd be like a little judgmental and like ask questions, but I'm like, okay, well, they're asking me questions, they're curious about it, and I'm just gonna answer, and if they say something salty, I'm gonna just like bite my tongue for once. And now 2 of those friends of mine are vegan. One of them has been vegan for like 2 years. The other one is just now like dabbling in being vegan, and she was one of those people that was like, I can never do this, like I need this, and I tried it once and it did this to my body, and I'm like, well, did you do it right?
Yeah.
You know, were you just eating beans and rice? Because if you were, then yeah, you did it wrong. So me just being like kinder about it and just like letting her come to me when she had questions, I think is what helped. If I had been like, well, you're a terrible human being and you should just like get out of my life, I don't think that she'd be curious about it or be doing it right now.
Or even maybe be your friend still. She's like, man.
I know it took a lot of strength to.
I know, I'm the same way. It's hard for me
judge.
to like bite my tongue when I get like, when I feel attacked or when I feel like.
And that's the thing, it's only when I feel attacked.
Yeah.
Like I'll attack back for sure.
Yeah. But
it's
pick your
not
battles.
the best approach.
Right. You have to think about how like you would feel if like, I don't know if like politics is like the best example or like religion, but if somebody's like coming at you and trying to convince you that they're
anything personal,
right?
like,
That's something that is of value to them, and they're trying to convince you of it. If they're coming at you like super abrasive with it, and like and like calling you names or like making you feel like shameful, you're gonna be like, no, thank you. Like, get out of my face.
Of course, your first reaction is going to be to defend yourself and defend what you believe and study instead of being open to information, to new information.
Right.
So,
but that's, sorry, I was just going to say, is that even fun? Like, why would you want to be friends if that's the only thing on your mind?
Yeah.
Like, don't you want to hang out? Like, don't you want to go, like, shopping? Don't you want to have brunch? Like, I don't want to talk about, like, veganism at brunch. Like, I want to see who you're dating. Like, give me the 411. There's just so much more to friendship than trying to convert people to going vegan. Like, of course, it's something you should share with them, and it's like very important to you. And like measuring like how to be respectful to each other is a growing phase that you grow together, truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like have fun, be friends. First of all.
So it's one thing to not neglect the friendships that you had before you went vegan, but I also think that sometimes when you're the only vegan you know and you do want to make new vegan friends, but you don't know anyone, that can be really tricky as well. So what did you guys do when you went vegan and you wanted to make vegan friends and connect to the community?
Instagram.
Right.
Honestly, like I feel like Instagram is just becoming a thing right when I became vegan, and then all of a sudden hashtags were a thing, and I was living in Washington at the time, so I felt so isolated and alone. And I'm lucky because my boyfriend went vegan with me, so I still kind of had a partner, but we were just like this little isolated bubble. Just like everyone's against us, it's just us two. And I saw a lot of people in LA that were vegan, and I was like, ooh, well, I want to move there anyway. So we moved, and I reached out to people on Instagram, and we went and hung out, and it was just like cool. But I think it was kind of you would meet up with people, and they were like passionate. I don't want to like rag on what they were doing, but it was almost like borderline hateful.
That's how we felt.
Yeah, and it was just like this, just like that's toxic in its own way.
Yeah.
And I think that I just I stopped being very vocal about it, like the way that I was before, and I feel like that kind of just like attracted people into my life that way. Obviously, I found you guys on Instagram, and I mean, there's definitely a lot of loneliness in it still to this day. Like, I know that I have you guys, I have like Devin, I have Alessandra, I have so many vegan friends, but like my day-to-day life and my jobs and stuff, I'm surrounded by people who like I get along with, and I'm never just like in their face about being vegan. Like a lot of people forget, they're like, oh, I forgot you're vegan, because I'm not just like I'm vegan.
You're not just a vegan.
Yeah,
like there's so much more to you than just like I'm vegan. That's it.
Yeah.
I go to sleep vegan. I wake up vegan. I eat lunch vegan.
That meme too. That's like, how do you know someone's a vegan? They'll tell you in 15 seconds.
Tell you in 15 seconds.
Somebody
I'll
that
tell you
I'm
in
friends,
less than that.
someone that I'm friends with posted that, and I was like, rude. And I like DM'd him, and I was like, that's not true. And I got all
That's
the
true.
You're like, that's not true.
By the way, I'm vegan. I was like, I totally just like proved that wrong. But like, yeah, I feel like there's a certain type of vegan who will probably tell you within 15 seconds, and
they probably do CrossFit.
Because we're all different types of people.
Yeah.
Still, it's not like vegans are just this one group and they're all the same personality and all the same type.
Yeah.
So there's the crazy ones, and then there's us.
Yeah. No, but that's why we started the show, because we just felt like we would meet and we talk for hours and just be like, why is no one like happy and nice? And just is such a lovely thing. Like we're doing it because we like love animals, we love the planet, we like just want to extend that like gentle, happy life to everyone else. And we're like, we have to start something that like changes people's minds and how they.
So simple.
It's so simple to us.
It's so funny because people are always like, oh, I'm so jealous you have vegan friends, and I'm like, the amount, like when we're working, we talk about being vegan all the time because obviously it's our job, but like
when we're off the clock,
it's like this much what we talk about. It's literally like, what are we gonna eat that's vegan? Cool. And then like the rest of the time we're literally talking about makeup, we're talking about what reality TV show we watched, like whatever it might be.
All
so
the
it's
juicy
like,
juice.
Yeah. I think it's important to like feel less alone, but you don't have to have like vegan friends to do that. You can get that same support from your existing friends in different ways. You can also
get that from following people on Instagram. I know like a lot of people who aren't Instagram people but are also vegan have like Instagram accounts that are vegan, like their trap accounts. What is that? What the kids are saying nowadays?
Finsta?
They're Finstas.
What's a trap account?
What's
I don't
a
know.
Finsta?
One of the youngsters messaged me that. Anyways,
okay.
They'll have like 2 separate accounts. They'll have like their regular account and then like a vegan one where they can like ask questions, have an open dialogue. Like,
oh, I like that.
It's important to be able to like bounce back off of people and like, learn new things. It's fun to follow other bloggers that have the same interest in you. Like I love vegan makeup and I love following those bloggers, but like it's nice to have that so you have a place to go to that's safe. So
I do think that it can get very lonely and you can feel very isolated if you do have a group of friends that isn't vegan. So I don't think there's anything wrong with like getting on Instagram, reaching out to people and being like, I'm vegan and I have no one, can we go get lunch or something? Because I literally had a moment last night at work where I just like, I'm friends with everyone, I'm so close with everyone, and this topic came up and I went to people to vent like I would to you guys, because I'm like, they'll agree with me, and I didn't get the reaction that I wanted and I felt so alone. I was like, oh my God, I thought that you would be, and I'm just like looking around and I'm like, oh no, this is so sad. And then I was like, I'm meeting up with the Vegan View girls tomorrow, I'm gonna tell them about it and I'm gonna feel so much better.
And if you don't meet up with us, there's our Facebook group.
This
is why we started it. And like some of the best things are just when people are like, I just have to vent. This person's driving me crazy.
I love those.
And we're like, vent, it's fine. They're like, I don't want answers, I don't want anything, I just need to tell someone.
Someone
and we're like, we're there for you.
And get it and like agree.
Community is so important, especially when it's something that you're so passionate about. I think that is something you should definitely seek out, whether it's online or in your real life. And if you don't know anyone who's vegan, like taking initiative and starting to do something on your own is a really good idea. So when I first went vegan, there was a friend of ours, Taryn, she would do these picnic potlucks. And so just on social media, on Facebook, there was like these,
I found it on the Meetup app.
Meetup.com is what it was. And it was like everyone would just get together, you know, in a public, safe place in the middle, like in an afternoon, you know, a sunny park day, and would just lay out blankets. It wasn't fancy. Someone brought music. Other people brought vegan donuts and like made salads, and just I remember there was a lot of fruit and like cookies, and it was really just a way of all getting together. And I think it's a really nice way to create your own community. So if you don't, it's like that quote, be the change you want to see in the world. If you don't see it and you want it, make it happen.
And you will attract people that way. There is other people out there.
And I mean, it took a long time. My first meetup I went to, my boyfriend like literally pushed me out and was like, go make friends. And I was like shaking, sweating, and I'm like pretty social person, but this was scary to me. I was like, they're gonna judge me because I had been a victim to the bad vegan PR.
Right.
And I had this like idea of what vegans are, and I was like, but I'm not like that. How am I gonna find people like me? And like, the first time I went, I met some really amazing people and hung out with some people who were amazing and vegan, but like we didn't have the same interests or hobbies and stuff like that. And it took me a long time to find like our little circle. And I've never talked about this before, but I actually was vegan and vegetarian on and off for years and years and years before I went vegan. Like how many years? I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And it was all because I didn't seek out community. And I just felt like weird and ashamed because I was so different.
I have those moments all the time, like at work especially, because no one is vegan.
It's hard when everyone's just like...
and they're all saying these things, and they're all like eating the food and stuff, and I sit there and I'm just like, fuck, am I the one doing something wrong? Like and I know that I'm not, but
Yeah.
it's like this little seed just starts to like come up of doubt, just like,
Yeah.
oh man, am I the not normal one?
Yeah, and it's like they're not
Totally.
being mean. They're just like they're kind of just being funny. But it's hard when you hear it. It's like you hear the same things over and over again, and it is something kind of like personal and like something you work on every day. So yeah, like having some solidarity, having someone to reach out to, being in the process of finding those people takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
It does. I ended up going to this like vegan dinner that again a friend put on. It was kind of like you were saying, Taryn did the picnics. She did like a multiple course vegan dinner, and she was like, please come. And I was like, oh my god, like I do not want to go. Like I was dreading it so much. I was like, I'm not gonna meet anybody. Like this is like not my style. And then like I convinced Jesse to go somehow. I don't know how. And he was also like we sat in the car before we walked in. We're like, what are we doing here? This is so lame. like we were already cringing before we even got there. And we sit down. We sit across from Nicole and Danny. And they're like, they pull out their vlog cameras and they're like, hey. I was like, oh my god, my people.
Yeah.
And they had like full beat makeup, like super cute outfits.
I
and
was blonde back then.
We were all blonde.
wow.
When we met, we were like, let's be friends. We all have the same hair.
I love a brunette.
I'm in a better place now.
It really does take getting outside of your comfort zone in order to meet people.
Because that dinner was so fun.
It was so fun.
And it was so natural and it was so easy. And I remember everything. You were just about to go to Greece.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh, she has such cute style. And you're like, yeah, I'm a fashion blogger. And I remember checking out your Instagram afterwards and being like, she's so cool.
Yeah,
Like, I
and
said,
it
you're
was
fine
like
with
we
it.
instantly knew we were going to be friends
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, I
like
love
without a
this
question.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the food was so good. And we just we were very much in our element. And it was
Yeah.
really great. Yeah.
Which it felt like a really like lucky situation, kind of like the stars aligned, but at the same time it took both of us getting out of our comfort zone because like it was also out of your comfort zone, I remember. So sometimes it takes a situation like that, and you may not meet your people the first time you go. It's like you said, like you guys were saying, like you might go to a vegan event and be like, these people are not my people, and that's okay. But like,
But
try
you're still
again.
gonna find common ground. You're still gonna have like stuff to talk about.
Right,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, it's not going to be just awful. It's always going to be fun. It's just scary going, doing it.
Yeah.
But then once you do go and you make a friend, you're like, oh, I accomplished something. It's like really good for your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Community
really
is so
inspiring.
important.
No, it is, because I'm the first one to be like, oh yeah, there's that thing going on. No, I'm gonna sit on my couch.
Right.
That sounds much better. And it's so easy to like trap yourself in a bubble when you live with a boyfriend, because you're like, well, we have each other. And we'll just stay here.
This is enough. Two
This is
people
enough. But no, you have to put yourself out. But it's so uncomfortable. I mean, I'm like a ball of anxiety when I go to stuff because I'm like,
It's hard.
I hope people think I'm cool.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so there's so many things
But-
to be stressed about. Like, oh my gosh, what are people wearing? What are people going to
Yeah.
talk about? Like,
Yeah.
who's going to be there? What's it going to be like?
Exactly. But I've never regretted going out and putting myself out there.
True.
It's just that initial step in through the door.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
even
like-
going to events like with us, it's always just like, oh, should we go? It's
Yeah.
gonna be hard. We don't know anyone there, and we're like, we're gonna go. Like one person or
Yeah.
like half the group is like, yeah, we have to go, and then you just go. Like,
I
Well,
want
that's
in
the
on
hardest
this.
part.
I want in on this.
Come.
Thank you. I just invited myself. So
I love it.
You're invited.
I love how you think you keep inviting yourself to things.
Yeah,
and we
I'm just
want
like, this
you
is an
there.
open invitation.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
fine.
friends.
I'll remember this on video.
I think one thing I would want to add is just that also I think reframing it in your mind that it's cool to be different sometimes. I think when we're different and we don't fit in, our first thought is, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Why are we so weird and lonely?
I love that.
There's another way
Angie
of thinking
Stewart
of it. Oh yeah.
episode. She talks about how she like.
Yes.
We had an episode with Angie Stewart Fitness, and she talked about raising her son vegan and how she wants him to celebrate the things that make him different and be proud of his values. And
Because he's a leader.
And yeah, being an individual, it's important to have a point of view, and it's interesting to be interested in certain things, and especially when it's a little bit controversial. I think that just makes you a more dynamic, interesting person. So I think if you can flip that narrative in your head, and instead of being
Yes.
embarrassed by being different, think about how awesome it is, and also know that what you're doing is making a big change in this world, because by being different, you automatically are attracting eyes onto you and people are looking at you, and just by living in the way that you do, you're setting an example and you're planting seeds for people and you're making change that way, whether you realize it or not. So I think there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think my tip to make friends is honestly like just be comfortable in your own skin, own who you are, and just don't apologize for it ever. Like, I think that when I finally like felt comfortable with myself and I stopped having a chip on my shoulder and always being on the defense, anyone who approached me, I'd be like, like, ready to defend myself already. And it's like, you know what? I'm comfortable in who I am and the choices that I make, knowing that I'm not harming any creatures. And if anyone wants to ask me about that, I am open to talk about it. If anyone wants to attack me about it, I'm going to attack you right back. But honestly, I've made so many good friends who, most of them aren't vegan, just by being comfortable in my own skin and just letting them come to me.
Yeah.
We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and that it was helpful for you. We'd love to know in the comments what the biggest issue is for you when it comes to either connecting with other vegans or feeling isolated and being the only vegan. Definitely chime in and share with us, because like I said, I think community is so important and we can all kind of help each other out in the comments. So let us know. Make sure that you check out Melina's Instagram account. She's got a really, really awesome and very fashionable Instagram page, so make sure you check that out. We'll link it in the description box, and that's also where you'll be able to find our individual channels and a link to our Facebook group, which is where we have really great discussions where you can rant about your feelings, you can share vegan food that you find, especially when new vegan food comes out. I feel like that's a really great place for me to find out, like, oh, Gardein now has new skillet ready meals. Didn't know that. Thank you, Facebook. If you would like that kind of information, make sure you're following us on Facebook and make sure you subscribe to our channel as well, and we will see you guys next Monday. Bye.
Bye.